Today we're going to take a look at everyone's second favorite Namekian. What? That's right, this is Nail. Now, maybe you remember, maybe you don't. This is part of Piccolo now, so it doesn't matter if you remember, because... I don't know. But if you want this guy by himself, well, now you can have him. This is a pretty cool thing to see s.h.figuarts do. This is a character that, you know, had a decent amount of screen time in the Namek saga, or Frieza saga, but they don't tend to give these characters enough love. I mean, there's a lot of times it's just a Vegeta or a Goku figure over and over and over and over again. It's so annoying. And while this might seem like a lot of reused parts from Piccolo, this now has some stuff in the box that actually makes him really awesome. So let's just jump into this and find out why I think he's so awesome. Some of that is available to see right now on the back of this box, which is, but let's not look too hard because we gotta open it and see all the cool stuff from there. Sliding them out of the packaging, this is something that you were originally only gonna get from Premium Bandai. So if I can find a link from some other site that happens to be selling him and you're interested in it, I will put that. Now consider the price will be more than it was originally, which was already kind of a lot. Yoink. As you can see, decent amount of accessories, nothing crazy, but all of those alternate faceplates, which are splendid. And I imagine we can use them on Piccolo. With the plethora of Piccolo figures we have, we'll find out what works and what doesn't. But I want to celebrate all of these unique things. We have that, these alternate faceplates. I don't remember the price, but I'm certain it was probably $80, $85, something like that. Now, what we have in the box is pretty standard with the hand accessories, but this is the unique thing, and then again some of these face plates. I mean, it really obviously looks like Piccolo, but we have some unique new sculpts specifically for this guy. Not only this cloak piece, but also his big chesticles. Initially seeing this guy, I was a little bit bummed. Well, knowing that we have new like 4.0 Vegetas and Gokus hitting shelves, or well, stores. Pre-orders. This is maybe gonna leave you feeling a little uncomfortable with the fact that we have reused legs. Like, this is clearly an older Piccolo, or maybe even a Goku pant leg that's just redone with the triple joint, the kneecap thing. But despite that, and despite these arms, which are clearly just older Piccolo arms, the chest and all of these new accessories, I think it's gonna be good enough to bring some new excitement to these guys. And it's not like this older style was a bad one. It just doesn't look as clean as the new style with when the knees are bent. Anyway, minor gripes. Let's jump into these accessories because we have a lot to talk about. I do not like that this is glossy and his head's matte finish, but I'll get over it in 3, 2, 1. What was the problem a second ago? The head that is on by default is just a nice neutral one. And again, if you just want it to be Piccolo, it most certainly can be. I'm sure there's going to be some visual differences between the two. I don't recall enough from the animation that he had a specific visual difference other than this cloak setup. But I guess we'll compare and find out today. He's got fists on by default. Again, I'm sure we've seen these before considering how many times a Piccolo's been released. Even this neck joint is a little bit of an older style, but that's okay. It gives you some nice range. Alternate faceplate number 1. Fantastic. Great outlines around the eyes. The gritting teeth is awesome. And then the veins through the dome. That's his head. More veins, but new face. This is great. Eye shifted to the side. I'm sure this is when he's specifically doing an attack against Vegeta. No, against Frieza. Up next, this one is absolutely gorgeous. It seems very rare that you're gonna have sweat dripping down any of your faceplate options. I remember seeing one for Vegeta, I think his Namek head sculpt. This looks so good, and it's especially obvious on the, well, it's more obvious on the green skin, so this is great. The sweat, the line work, and the shape of this eye are right out of the animation. You can almost see this thing like jittering, you know, because they just kind of hold those frames for longer. And maybe the most important face out of the entire set is, spoiler alert, if you're just now watching and you haven't seen this part of the series, he dies. He gets sucked into Piccolo, and this is when he's essentially on his deathbed, and rather than dying, he fuses with Piccolo, and they get a huge power upgrade. This cloak type piece, jacket, whatever you want to call it, you have the neck thing, which looks very similar to what you would see on Piccolo, and then this, which is just a rubber piece. So it's going to be fun to see who makes the cloth option first with a wired cape. I think people are going to really want a wired version. If you'd like to hang out and chat with me, then be sure to join Discord, and you can do that easily for just $2 a month. Use the link down in the description over on Ko-fi and sign up today. Now, to get this thing off of him, because as you know, you probably already saw it, you can put just the neck piece on, which is here. So there we go. Very simple. Look at those butterfly joints, gigantic. Love to see that. Now this thing is just gonna float around on him. There's nothing to lock in like on a cape from Piccolo or something. But I think that's gonna be just fine. I really love the there's something about the colors in here. They're like, I don't know how to explain it. Maybe it's just this green is really nice, and then seeing it without something. I don't know. I am bothered. I am bothered once again about the fact that this has a matte finish on the head, and then the chest has this kind of semi-gloss. Now, I don't mind this, I just don't like that they don't match. But otherwise, this is gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. They've done such a great job with the sculpting on this. Like, look at those muscles. Really nice. And it clearly sets him apart from Piccolo as far as the design goes. But then all this through here, I think we've essentially seen before. Maybe there's something new down here. I can't recall if Piccolo's little booties did this as well, but you can see there's a little bit of his pattern and coloring underneath that as well. Alternate set of hands here. I'm wondering if these are new sculpts specifically for him, or if they are just reused from some version of Piccolo. Alternate set here, just kind of a fighting stance. Now this also seems like a Piccolo set for sure. And this is just a friendly reminder that as we enter the colder season, make sure your figures are nice and warm before you start really posing and swapping out wrists, hands. And the final set here, we have this like kind of deflecting key blast or just chop. This is the kind of the multi-purpose hand out of the whole set. If you take the forearm, you can slide it right off of this elbow. And then you can take this, which is the highlight of the whole set, I think. This translucent, semi-translucent plastic with the growth of his arms. So this is really, really fun to see. Downside is you don't get the chopped off version that you can stick on, but you have the moment of it coming back. Check that out. That is a really nice accessory that we've never seen before. I don't think anything like this with Piccolo in the past. It was just like the cut-off version of his arm, but never this kind of growth piece, which is really, really fun. And check it out, if you add a little bit of light behind it, how it glows. Really cool. As far as articulation goes, this guy's gonna rock because, again, it's basically just a Piccolo, but with some new parts. So all of those leg joints that, even though they are kind of unsightly now compared to what the new stuff does, it still looks good. I mean, I never was really bothered by it. It's just more of a comparison thing, but you're gonna have incredible range. But we will look at these butterfly joints as they are new, along with the torso and stuff. So that, if you want a really, I mean, good God, look at just having this guy on the shelf doing something like this is already cool and differentiates him drastically from Piccolo. That's right. Ugh. I don't know. What am I supposed to say? So let's take this collar piece off so we can get a good look at what happens underneath. We have the neck joint, which I think is essentially what we've seen before. With that double jointed thing underneath of his head, you're going to still be able to get some great range, different positions and stuff. I love to see that. These butterfly joints, I'm pretty sure I knew. I don't think Piccolo had these things. Look at how good these are. Check that out. That is really nice. They also go back really well. This is going to be fun to pose him up and have him fighting Frieza or whoever you want, just for the sake of having some fun. Having a good old time. Imagine that. You buy toys and have fun with them. Huh. Look at that crunch. Good lord. He leans back really well, but then also has that gigantic gaping section, which is a little unfortunate. But if you want Frieza to punch him or kick him in his guts and have him flying across the map, well, you're definitely going to have a nice setup for that. Check that out. Fantastic. And then the waist, I think, is basically what we've seen before. It doesn't really do much aside from twisting, just because of the, well, I think mostly because of the belt, but there is like this kind of swivel piece that happens underneath there. So this is great. This is a great setup for anybody that's wanting this figure. I think you're going to be really, really happy, not only with all of the accessories, but the articulation. So if you want a buff, sexy Piccolo, you can obviously do some swapping around of some parts. So let's just let's mess around and see what we can do with Piccolo versus Nail. Just as a recap, this is what you got with the Namek version of Piccolo. So all of these parts are pretty specific. I think we have reused parts. I did do a cloth upgrade, so if you want to watch that review, that's available, and you can see how much that transforms. But for the most part, this is the same dude. I mean, look at this. The pants, I think we are looking at literally the same thing. Yes, all the way down the leg, everything is the same. He also had this kind of swivel thing happening at the waist, so that is also identical. And then he had these arms, which, yes, are the same. So we're not looking at new stuff, which I would be very surprised if they resculpted all of that. Looks like the hands are the same as well. Because you get these parts with Piccolo, that would mean that you, if you wanted to, could swap out some parts and have a chopped off arm. Although, I think this was his left arm, wasn't it? So technically, you can make this work. Well, not even technically. You literally can make this work. It's just technically the wrong arm. But I'm sure if you really wanted to sell it, you could swap it over here. But there is also the difference of, like, it was just this part of his arm that got cut off. Doesn't matter. The long story long, just saying that these parts are swappable. And the neck joints are the same, so we should be able to just pop this right on. There you go. And now you have a new head sculpt for Piccolo. And of course, because it's on Piccolo, it just looks like Piccolo. These older head sculpts with the red mouth are so not good. And if you have the Dragon Ball Super version, obviously the difference in the sculpts, you can see down through the arms, you have the difference of the colors, even between just Piccolo alone. He went into the yellow coloring scheme for Super. That was hard to get out of my mouth. Same neck joint, so yes, you can absolutely make that work. Coloring is slightly different, but it is also slightly different on himself because of how mattified this is. And finally, Dragon Ball Daima. I don't expect we're gonna see much stuff shared between these two because Daima is, I mean, drastically shorter, but we have all new sculpts across the entire figure. Look at even the way the arms are cut. So this is much more unique between the two of them. I don't know you would want to swap anything, even if you can. I think the neck joints, yeah, they're also a completely different setup. Maybe you can get that joint out of his neck and then transfer it over, but the colors are totally different too, so it's just gonna look super weird to have that dark green on the bright green body. So this one definitely is more unique. And from there, we do need to get our classic counterpart. Look at that. I mean, you think of this scale, this Namekian should definitely be able to take him out, but he can't. This little guy has so much power, it's crazy. It'll be really nice for those of you that have a Namek shelf and you're just trying to complete that set. This is going to really fill it out and I think give you a beloved character. Again, even though he didn't have a ton of screen time, he is just somebody that a lot of people have really grown attached to for whatever the reason. Can we take this guy apart at the waist? Doesn't really feel like it, and so I'm a little afraid. Owie! There you go. If you just want an option for Piccolo, look at that. You can definitely make it happen and have Piccolo in poses like you've never had before thanks to these incredible butterfly joints. Well, there you have it, folks. Is this something that you picked up, or is it something that you hope you can get? And again, links down in the description if I can find it available anywhere else. I love this thing. I would say that it's definitely something you could pass up because it's not a primary character. So if you don't have the budget for adding all of these guys, don't worry about it. Because again, I think this guy's probably going to get a bit expensive aftermarket or from websites that are not the Premium Bandai option. So while he does have a lot of reused parts, there's a lot of new stuff, which makes him a solid choice if you're trying to finish that Namek collection. If you enjoyed this, you want to see some more Dragon Ball Z figures get reviewed, then be sure to click that link right there. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.